She's always spoken Irish.
She did.
And exceptionally, she lived beside on the Ennistimon Road.
Opposite Kieran's.
Opposite Martin Kiernan's, but next door to
Kitty Madigan.
Kitty Madigan. Now, Kitty was a great lady for taking photographs.
Was she?
And she used to line us up. Now, this was before next door that the Crescent was built.
There was just a cowl.
That's right. There was an old wall there, and you came further down, and there was a tap on the road. Then there was 2 thatched cottages, and a 2-story pink house. There, up to the Fair Green.
Marnin's shop.
Marnin's shop, correct. Marnin's shop. My memory fails me at times. And then Paddy Kine was the contractor for the Crescent when he came to build. And I'll always remember that he appointed as his foreman Joe Vaughan, who lived further down.
Paddy Kine wasn't a local man, was he?
No, Paddy Kine was Ennis.
Right.
Contractor from Ennis to build the 13 houses in the Horseshoe. But Joe was, a lot of local people got to work there. I remember Michael McDonough had an accident there. He had no safety boots and he walked on a plank with a nail, and he was out of action for maybe 3 months. But Joe Vaughan was the timekeeper, and somebody robbed his whistle. He used to whistle when the lads had to start work, and he'd whistle for the break and whistle for tea break and whistle when they were to go home. But somebody robbed Joe's whistle. And it was a fella by the name of Tommy Carney, who had a drapery business in the Ennistimon Road, in the Church Road, Chapel Road. A tailor, yes, a tailor. And he supplied him with a new whistle. But my other memory talking about Tommy Carney was, every evening at 7 o'clock, Paddy Corbett came down the Ennis Road like a new pin. The hair combed, the suit, the tie, the shoes shining, up to Tommy Carney's. Every evening they went up there and they played cards and they chatted their local conversations. But I'll always remark Paddy Corbett.
And you remember Jack Wickham's house as a mecca for people coming from in that direction, from Dunsala and Knocklestrane. And
about 6 people used to come in there every night of the week. And they'd park their bikes outside against the footpath. No locks in those days.
Okay.
And they'd go in and play, and we were all there. Now, Spile Combe was the name of the game they played. And we'd get, for 4pence, 2 cream crackers and a chunk of cheese that size in between. 4pence. And he'd wrap it in a piece of greaseproof paper, and you brought it down to Wickham's and you got a penny. Now that penny was priceless because all you could do with a penny. And another thing too was when the weather would be very cold outside Wickham's, Joe White would come out with a can of water and put it down the road.
Yes,
and he'd make a skate. And everything went well when it froze, and we'd be all skating up and down on it. And then Garrett McMahon would appear. Now, Garrett McMahon lived up on Church Road opposite the barracks. And he'd appear and slowly walk up the Ennis Road until we all disappeared behind Marty Considine's garage. And Pat McGee was another guard in Milltown. Now, Pat wasn't too bad, but he didn't like anybody playing football on the street.
No.
And if we were playing football on the square, confiscated. That wasn't the first football I remember confiscated. The first football I remember confiscated was by Tom Hines. Tom Hines in the Mullock Road had a field down at the back of the New Line, or the laneway at the back of
the main street
of Flag Road. And we'd be down there playing football, and Tom would appear, the ball would be taken, and we'd all go up and stand opposite Breen's or Eddie Sharkey's house in the Mullock Road, standing looking at Tom Hines. The Lord be good to him, there's an awful lot of RIPs here, would stand waiting to see would he give us our ball back. And I remember Father Michael McLaughlin getting the ball back him off one time. To come back to the Ennis Road, Jimmy Barnes had a bicycle shop and a different goods
Yep.
there. And his chief man working was Paddy Burke. Now, Paddy Burke was one of the Burkes from the Mullock Road below Tom Burke's house. And Paddy Burke was a great man for the fags. And I'll always remember one Lent, he decided he'd give up the cigarettes. And he came into my mother and bought 2 pounds of jelly sweets. And he absolutely went up to a Barnes' shop and guzzled the 2 pounds of jelly sweets, trying to keep off the sweets, or the fags. At the back of Tony Malone's house, there was a tree which we called the aeroplane. And we'd all accumulate there and swing on this, and it was supposed to be an aeroplane. But if we got into Barnes's yard, there was lots of bits of batteries and things around the place, and we were in Wonderland. Town, I went into Gunnings and Sons, which was the main ecclesiastical furnishers at the time, and everything went well for about 7 years. In our trade, every 7 years it seems to take a dive, and you're very busy for 7 years, and then there's absolutely nothing. So we decided we would go into Holloware, and in conjunction with a firm in the United States called Reed and Barton, we started manufacturing Holloware. Now, this is actually Holloware. This is a tea set. You have the coffee, the teapot, the cream, and the sugar. Now, these are completely manufactured. It starts off of a flat sheet, and the flat sheet is gradually coated over a shape that you already have on your machine. Now, when that is spun, this is hand spinning. There are no handles or no toes. They have to be cast separately, and the handle is cast separately. Then it goes to the soldering department, and the solderer will mount the handles and solder them on, mount the toes and solder them on. Then in turn it will go to the polisher. Then when the polisher gets this, it's just in the raw grey state, and he will sand the whole unit first, then he will polish it to a high spec and put it down, and likewise with the coffee pot he will do the same thing. Polish it up and get it ready for plating. The next aspect of that is the silver plating. This will have to go through four cleaning tanks before it goes into the silver plating tank. Its cleaning process first has to be scratch brushed with a wire brush. Then when that's ready, it's suspended like that on a copper wire into the silver plating tank. Now the silver plating tank, there's a bar in the centre that moves. That's to keep the action. That the silver bars, which are each side of the tank, the metal will flow through the solution in the tank and grip onto the item that's hanging in there. Now that is left in, and we call it pennyweights. You put so many pennyweights per ounce on silver on the job, and when you have a timer set and it's say 3-4 minutes, you will take out this, and this is swilled in hot water. Now it's still dull because it's a white kind of a creamy finish on the metal, and that is taken out and it's dried in sawdust, and when it's dried, completely dry, it will go to the polisher, and the polisher with a black rouge mop will high gloss this. The machine is going maybe at 3,000 revs per minute, and he will gloss this very highly, and then it will go in to the restoration room, and in the restoration room they put a sealant on this that will preserve the shine, that it will last maybe 10 or 15 weeks. So when that's finished, it will then go out to the inspection, and the inspection department will check it out with their eyeglasses or anything else to see if there are any cavities, because if that goes into a solution of cyanide and it comes out of a hot atmosphere into a cold atmosphere, you will get a leak. And any little cavity that's there and the solution has got into it, when it goes into a different climate, that will ooze and it will become a blue. You'll have a blue stain on this, which is virtually impossible to get out. So when the inspection is finished, then it will go to be packed and sealed and sold.